Well, thank you very much for that introduction. And I want to say good morning to everyone. And of course, thank Marion for inviting me and the Council for inviting me along this morning. As Jim said, I was Cabinet Secretary for Rural Affairs, the Environment and Food. So for me to arrive at an event and being given a roll in scrambled egg with a tatty scone on it is unprecedented. And my affection for this sector has intensified this morning because food is close to my heart. But that's a great way to start an event here in Glasgow. And Jim, of course, mentioned I'm a Dawn supporter and not necessarily the most popular person in some parts of Glasgow at the moment. But I'm coming back here in 2 weeks, Jim, back to Glasgow, to Hampden Park, to support not Celtic. So I'm a regular visitor to Glasgow these days, but it's really good to be here, and I can see from the attendance in the room itself, it's a very important large event, a very important date in the calendar for the CLD sector. I also want to congratulate you on reaching the milestone of 2,500 members, as I heard in Jim's opening remarks as well. That's great news. As Minister for Further Education, Higher Education and Science, I have attended 3 CLD events in almost as many weeks. So it's been really helpful for me, I've been in this post since last September, to hear about the enormous impact all of your work has right across Scotland's communities. And it was also very inspiring to hear about the good work taking place here in Glasgow from Chris's speech there, welcoming you all to the city, and to hear about the good work taking place in Glasgow in terms of closing the attainment gap and tackling poverty. Clearly, fantastic progress being made in the city, albeit, as he said, lots of big challenges still out there that have to be addressed. So there was very powerful points that Chris made in his speech as well. But I do know that all of your dedication is outstanding to the sector, and I'm pleased to offer my support as Minister to the Standards Council here today. And I want to assure you all that the professional standards that you all uphold are very much valued right across the Scottish Government. And in recognition of that, I'm very pleased, near the beginning of my remarks, to be able to use this important occasion to announce the new chair of the CLD Standards Council. And your new chair is going to be Alan Sherry, who's sitting over there. So I want to just say that most of you will know Alan well, and I want to wish him all the best, of course, as your new chair. You will know he brings huge passion and considerable experience and a real drive to the CLD agenda. And starting his career as a CLD practitioner, Alan has served as principal of John Wheatley and then latterly at Glasgow Kelvin College, where of course he is at the moment. And over the years, Alan has been at the centre of many discussions about fair access, equity and social justice in Glasgow and across Scotland. And Alan's commitment to CLD principles is clearly demonstrated through the time and energy that he does give to supporting a wide variety of organisations, from strategic leadership to community level boards as well. So I'm sure I can speak for everyone in the room for thanking him for adding the CLD Standards Council to the long list of organisations which will benefit from his support. So welcome to your new role, Alan. Thank you for taking on the responsibility, and really want to wish you all the best of luck for the future. Thank you. Clearly, Chris was here representing a local government, or as he said, the city government here in Glasgow. And it's important to note that there are many people in the room from across local government in Scotland and, of course, many other sectors as well. But that's an important point. And the Scottish Government acknowledges how important all of your contribution is to CLD. And indeed, in these incredibly challenging times, never has partnership working been more important. I'm not sure in all my ministerial experience. I was in Cabinet for 9 years, from 2007 to 2016, as you heard, and I have been in Parliament since day one in 1999. I heard that the Youth Parliament was a day older than we are. I wasn't obviously old enough to be in the Youth Parliament at that time in 1999. But in all my time in Parliament and in ministerial office, it's difficult to think of a time where there's been so many challenges facing the country in many respects. We have had 10 years of austerity, and now we've got the chaos of Brexit, which is the backdrop against which we meet today in Glasgow. So in the face of all that, it can sometimes be difficult to be positive, but we have to be positive. But I want to thank all of you, given that backdrop, for the opportunity we do have today to applaud the excellent work of CLD practitioners and all of your dedication to supporting a successful Scotland moving forward. In December, the Standards Council celebrated its 10th anniversary, and that's 10 years of partnership to help individuals and communities achieve great things. And as a key part of my portfolio, I'm learning how CLD is making a positive impact on individuals and communities across the country. I know, for example, that CLD makes a huge difference in schools. In Fife, CLD workers in schools have made the links between families, schools and youth workers to improve learning for everyone. And in Bellshill Academy, to give another example, having a CLD professional on the senior management team has created new approaches to support engagement of all learners there. I also know that CLD professionals have a positive impact on health, and particularly mental health. And we can see this in action in places such as Dumfries and Galloway, where CLD workers are supporting the mental health of young people in partnership with the CAM service. And when I was first elected to Parliament in 1999, mental health was not particularly high on the agenda, I think it's fair to say. And society has now changed, however, and improving mental health is and must be a real focus for our government and for all of us across society. It's amazing how it has been catapulted much further up the political agenda over the last 20 years or so. Many of you will have heard a great deal of support for that during just the recent parliamentary debate on the Year of Young People that took place in Parliament just a couple of weeks ago, and I know that many people in the room contributed to making sure we had a very successful Year of Young People last year. And I know we can rely on CLD services to support our efforts to improve Scotland's mental health. As Minister, I'm clear that CLD can also make a difference not just in schools but also in colleges. Kelvin College, for example, employs around 30 CLD staff to work across communities in learning hubs to make sure that even the most disadvantaged communities can access learning. And 2 weeks ago I spent an evening with over 300 youth workers, and Jim was there and many other people in the room as well, here in Glasgow, celebrating the impact made by youth workers and young people up and down the country as well. So these examples make clear why CLD is known as the empowering profession, and this is why the work of the Standards Council is so important in supporting your personal professional journeys in maintaining such high standards. The events I have attended in recent weeks have shown me how CLD supports the pursuit of social justice and the positive impact this has on our most vulnerable communities. And that partnership working I spoke about becomes ever more important, but so does the Standards Council in ensuring the recognition of the CLD profession. As schools, for example, rely ever increasingly on the CLD sector to rise to the Scottish Attainment Challenge, it's important that your recognition is appropriately recognised. And of course, recognition of your contribution in CLD is essential to your sector's sustainability as well. And this is where I expect to see the Standards Council make a real difference, helping to raise awareness and support the endorsement of CLD practice within the Scottish Government's ambition for education, health and justice. As the educational landscape in Scotland changes, so the Standards Council becomes more important than ever within that debate. As of the 1st of April this year, Education Scotland will implement its new role as a regional delivery improvement service, so we're only a matter of days away from that. And a new regional directorate will be established with 6 multidisciplinary regional teams, each headed up by a senior regional advisor. Community learning and development colleagues will now be based in regional teams around the country to work alongside peers and practitioners to support improvement at regional and local level. And joining this up at national level, Education Scotland will continue to work closely with the Government on the implementation of CLD policy, coordinating and maximising the impact of these regional teams. So I'm very keen for CLD staff to be at the forefront of that changing landscape for education in Scotland. This is in recognition of all your skills and your experience in collaborative working, as well as the knowledge and understanding you have of local communities, ensuring the needs of all our learners are understood and addressed. And to safeguard that, I want to see the establishment of a new framework agreement between CLD, Standards Council and Education Scotland. So in the face of all this uncertainty and change that I mentioned earlier as well, as the consequences of Brexit and other issues become more apparent in the days and weeks and months ahead, CLD practice becomes more important to our communities, as I said before, than ever before. So today's conference theme, In Pursuit of Social Justice, couldn't be more apt in these times. CLD is critical to our drive for social justice and inclusive economic growth, which was referred to by Chris, and achieving a fairer distribution of opportunity in our society and prosperity within the country. And as we do face up to these challenges, I ask the Standards Council to continue to think about innovative ways of putting CLD at the forefront of Scotland's response in support of our policies in health and justice and education. And working across government, alongside all the partners, I'm really committed to raising awareness of the impact made by CLD in our schools, our colleges, our communities and third sector organisations by both paid and, of course, the many voluntary staff out there as well. So I hope that can be seen in the Scottish Government's commitment to firstly enhance the arrangements for the management of the sector, including ensuring its place in the New Education Scotland's regional improvement collaboratives I mentioned. Also to fully purpose local authority CLD plans to make sure they support and target resources locally as part of a process which is led by the sector itself through the CLD Managers Group. And to take forward the development of new adult learning and youth work strategies, which we're doing as well, putting learners at the centre of both, and also the support we're giving in terms of the review of the Scottish Government's children and adult funding to achieve greater parity across all the priorities. And also the fact that we're putting in place new funding arrangements for community-based ESOL and supporting the sectors to work differently together, problem solving in regions where the worst issues prevail and producing improved arrangements for the academic years 2019-20 and onwards. And finally, I want to see better coordination of the different community-related funding streams from across government in support of greater sustainability of the CLD sector. I've already said to Alan, your new chair, that I want to sit down with him very shortly to get your action plan and his action plan for addressing some of these big issues which I've just mentioned moving forward for the sector. But all these ambitions are reliant on a strong contribution from the Standards Council, raising the CLD profile across a wide range of partners, creating innovative ways of joint working and safeguarding the profession as we go along. So I want to finish off just really by thanking everyone who has contributed to the discussions or will be contributing to the discussions and the presentations and workshops that are taking place here today at your event, and I hope they do have a lasting impact. I know you will take the messages from today back into the communities within which you work and make an even bigger difference within Scotland's communities. I would like to give a special mention to the students who have taken time out today to facilitate the running of much of today's conference. And last but not by any means least, I would like to thank all of you here today for the strength you have shown in the journey in developing your own profession. I want to wish you all success in moving forward with the knowledge that CLD has, not only my support and endorsement, but also the support of colleagues across the Scottish Government is what I'm here to give to all of you today. We want to really join with you, work with you in partnership in the pursuit of social justice and helping to make Scotland a better place in which to live and in which to succeed as well. So please keep up the good work, and we've got a lot of work to do in the times ahead, but I very much look forward to working in partnership with you all. Thank you.